You went quiet. You thought your silence would echo in her mind. You thought she'd stare at her phone, wondering where you went, feeling that empty space you left behind. But instead, she just moved on. And that burns, doesn't it? Because you thought silence was power. You thought walking away would make her chase. But here's the hard truth. Your silence doesn't hurt her if she already detached long before you stopped speaking. See, silence is powerful only when your presence meant something first. And if it didn't, then your quiet becomes nothing more than background noise. So today, we're going to break down the real reasons why your silence doesn't affect her, and what to do if you want your absence to actually matter. Stay with me, because this might sting a little, but it'll wake you up too. 1. She was never emotionally attached. You ever wonder why she didn't react when you stopped talking? Why she didn't text back or check up on you? Here's the thing. She probably wasn't emotionally attached in the first place. Most men assume that just because a woman laughed at their jokes, went out with them a few times, or even shared a few deep talks, that she's invested. But emotional attachment doesn't work that way. A woman can enjoy your company and still feel nothing when you disappear. Because attachment isn't built from how much time you spend together, it's built from how deeply she feels you. If your presence never reached her emotions, your silence won't echo in her heart. It'll just fade. You see, women don't miss men. They miss the emotions those men made them feel. If she didn't feel a spark, a genuine safety or emotional warmth around you, then when you go silent, it doesn't hurt her. It just confirms what she already sensed. There wasn't much there to begin with. And here's where most guys mess up. They think silence will create attachment, but silence doesn't build emotion. It only reveals whether it existed or not. You can't make someone value you by disappearing if they never truly saw your value when you were present. And the hardest pill to swallow. Sometimes she didn't care as much as you hoped. Don't take that personally. Take it as insight. Because once you understand this, you stop trying to make someone miss you. You start focusing on being the kind of man who doesn't need to chase emotional validation. When your sense of worth isn't tied to her reaction, your silence becomes peace, not a test. And ironically, that's when your absence finally begins to mean something. 2. She's used to men disappearing. In today's dating culture, women have seen it all. Men who text for weeks and suddenly vanish. Guys who pull away just to get attention. Ghosting, breadcrumbing. It's like background noise at this point. So when you go silent, she doesn't sit there panicking. She just shrugs. Another one. That's it. You think your silence is strategy, but to her, it's nothing new. She's already emotionally conditioned to see this as routine. The truth is, she's used to men being inconsistent, men who play emotional games, thinking they're mysterious when really they're predictable. That's why your silence doesn't move her. You're not being different. You're being familiar. Here's something to think about. Real mystery doesn't come from being quiet. It comes from being centered. A man who has control over himself, who speaks when he needs to, who's calm instead of cold. That's the kind of presence that stands out. Silence without substance doesn't impress anyone. It's the silence after depth that hits different. Because when you've shown real character and then you pull back, she feels the contrast. But if you barely scratched her emotions, your absence is just another disappearing act in her memory. So before you use silence as a tactic, ask yourself this: have you given her something worth missing? If not, your quiet won't shake her. It'll just remind her how common that move has become. 3. She's more focused on her peace. Here's something men forget. Peace is addictive. Once a woman finds it, she protects it. If your energy brought confusion, stress, or emotional noise, your silence might actually feel good to her. You think she's missing you, but she's just breathing better. See, women don't chase what disturbs their peace. They chase what makes them feel calm, alive, and emotionally safe. And when you pull away, sometimes she doesn't interpret it as loss. She interprets it as relief. That's a harsh truth to face. But it's also freeing. Because it means her reaction isn't about you, it's about how she felt when you were around. If your connection was peaceful and balanced, your silence will feel unnatural to her. She'll want that energy back. But if you brought tension, overthinking, or emotional imbalance, your silence feels like peace returning. That's why self-awareness matters. When your presence adds value, not drama, your absence becomes noticed. But when your energy drains instead of nourishes, silence only highlights how much better she feels without it. Stop taking her calmness as coldness. It's not that she doesn't care, it's that she's tired of chaos. And when you realize that, you stop trying to make her feel something. You start working on becoming the kind of man whose energy brings peace, not pressure. Because peace, once found, is never chased again. 4. Your presence had no depth. Here's a simple truth. If your silence doesn't affect her, your presence probably didn't either. Most men mistake consistency for depth. They think showing up, texting, calling, that's enough. It's not. Depth isn't about frequency. It's about impact. It's how your presence makes her feel when she's around you. Did she feel seen, safe, curious, challenged in a healthy way? Or did she feel like she was just filling time? When you go silent, a woman's reaction depends on what she's left remembering. If your time together was emotionally rich, your absence creates questions. But if it was shallow, your silence creates nothing but space. A man with depth doesn't need to disappear to be missed. He leaves an emotional fingerprint so strong that even when he's quiet, he's remembered. So instead of trying to use silence to prove your worth, make your presence so grounded that your absence naturally carries weight. That's what Stoicism teaches. Real power is not in withdrawing, but in being so present that even when you're gone, your energy stays behind. Depth creates memory. Memory creates longing, and longing is something silence alone will never achieve. 5. She mirrors energy, not absence. Women don't chase energy, they reflect it. You give effort, she gives it back. You pull away, she pulls away too. You think she's ignoring you, but she's just mirroring your behavior. That's how feminine energy works. It responds, it doesn't pursue. You might think silence will trigger her emotions, but in her mind, silence means disinterest. And if she respects herself, she's not chasing someone who seems indifferent. So, instead of asking, why isn't she reacting? Ask yourself, what energy am I giving off? Because she's only matching it. A woman's emotional rhythm often reflects yours. If you bring calm strength, she'll respond with softness. If you bring distance, she'll return it. It's not revenge, it's reflection. Silence doesn't make her chase, it makes her assume. And assumptions kill connection faster than any argument ever could. If you want her attention, don't disappear. Be consistent, not overbearing, not desperate, just stable. Because silence might make her curious for a day, but your steadiness will make her trust you for a lifetime. 6. She's focusing on what feeds her emotionally. At some point, every woman realizes this. What doesn't feed her, fades her. If your connection didn't add emotional value, she'll naturally shift her focus elsewhere. Maybe it's her work, her friends, or her peace. But whatever it is, it's something that fills the gap your silence created. You think she's thinking about you, but she's thinking about what's good for her, and in that shift, she starts to detach. When a woman feels drained, she learns to protect her emotional space. That's not cold, it's survival. Your silence doesn't pull her closer, it gives her time to realign. And once she fills that space with peace or purpose, your return might not even matter anymore. So, if you want to be missed, don't disappear hoping she'll chase. Be the kind of man whose energy can't be replaced by peace. 7. She already saw it coming. Here's the funny thing, most women sense when a man is about to go quiet. They feel it in his tone, his energy, his detachment. So when you finally go silent, it doesn't surprise her. It just confirms what she already felt. And when someone expects your distance, it doesn't hurt as much when you finally leave. That's why preparation kills the impact of silence. She already saw it coming. If you were emotionally disconnected before the silence, she's been emotionally preparing. So while you think you're shocking her, she's already adjusted to life without your energy. Real impact happens when your absence comes after genuine connection, not before it. 8. You confused silence with strength. A lot of men think silence equals strength. It doesn't. True strength isn't avoiding communication, it's controlling it. Silence becomes powerful only when it's backed by composure and purpose. If you're going quiet just to get attention, it's not strength, it's manipulation. Silence is valuable when it's peace, not punishment. When it's used to recharge, not to control. Women can feel the difference between silence that's confident and silence that's insecure. If your quiet feels like a game, she'll ignore it. If it feels like grounded self-respect, she'll respect it too. So before you go silent, ask yourself, am I doing this for clarity or for reaction? That's what separates Stoicism from ego. 9. She's emotionally detached. When a woman detaches, she doesn't yell, she doesn't argue, she just stops caring. Her silence feels colder than yours ever could. And once she reaches that point, nothing you do, texting, calling, or ignoring, will shake her, because she's emotionally numb to your presence. That's what happens when a woman loses emotional trust. Your silence doesn't scare her, because she's already learned to live without your noise. You can't rebuild connection with absence. You rebuild it by presence, authenticity, and emotional control. 10. Your silence means nothing without growth. At the end of it all, silence is meaningless without growth behind it. If you go quiet but stay the same man, she gains peace, and you lose presence. But if you use silence to rebuild yourself, to refocus, recenter, and strengthen your energy, then it becomes powerful. That's when your absence starts to speak. Because the next time she sees you, she doesn't feel manipulation. She feels change. Silence doesn't make her miss you. Self-improvement does. And that's the real Stoic truth most men never learn. Let's wrap this up. Your silence doesn't affect her because she wasn't emotionally invested. She's used to men vanishing. She values peace over attention. Silence means nothing without depth. She mirrors your effort, and she's focused on what actually feeds her emotions. So, stop trying to be the echo. Be the presence that matters. If this video hit something deep, drop a comment and tell me which part spoke to you the most. And if you're new here, subscribe to Behavior Insight for more grounded Stoic truths on human behavior, attraction, and emotional mastery. Until next time, stay calm, stay focused, and remember, a man of peace is louder than a man of silence.